the meeting to order. I've got 7:01 p.m. Did everybody get a chance to review the agenda?
And there was a revised agenda just because of a numbering error sent out. Is that correct, Colleen?
Yes. Yeah. The agenda stayed the same. It's just that the numbers were out of whack and I didn't catch that until it was already out.
Well, does anybody have any issues with the agenda? If not, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a second?
I'll second it.
Vote by roll call.
All right. Counselor Caceres.
Aye.
Counselor Seha.
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone.
Aye.
Counselor Sini. Oh, sorry, I missed one. Counselor Lee. Counselor Sini.
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
All right, so first we've got the newly elected members. So obviously Doug's been sitting on council for a little bit in one of the appointed positions. He was just voted in to a full term, and then Scott was voted in as well. So to save time, we actually did the oath of office earlier this afternoon, but if anybody in the community is worried, we took pictures and there's signed copies of those at City Hall. So we'll jump into the council vacancy. I read through the two applicants that we had. Did anyone from council have any specific questions they wanted to ask to any of the applicants? I'm going to take that as a no. So after reading through both of them, is there anyone specific that anybody has any issues with or anything? Walter's been on the planning committee for a while. He had previously run for a position. He's also part of Marion County Public Works, and I think that's beneficial knowledge that we can utilize on council. If nobody has any issues with that, I would lean towards appointing Walter.
Yeah.
You guys are quiet tonight.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm in agreement as well.
If that's the case, can I get a motion?
I move to approve Walter Wick's application to the vacant council position and thus appoint him to that position as our next city councilor.
I'll second. All right, vote by roll call.
Hey, Counselor Caceres.
Aye.
Counselor Seha.
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone.
Aye.
Counselor Lee.
Aye.
Counselor Sini.
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is unanimous. We can bring him into the meeting now if you want to do the oath of office.
Well, and so I was going to ask about that. With this being a Zoom meeting and being a little bit different, I mean, it's pretty easy to do the oath of office when we're all present. So maybe, we could bring Walter in and kind of ask his preference, whether he would like to be a part of the meeting tonight, or if he wants to set up a time to do the oath and then join in on the next meeting.
Okay, Walt.
Hey, hi everybody, Mayor, councilors.
Evening.
I'm honored. I'm shaking a little bit, but I'm really happy to be here. I'm really honored to be here, and I'm fine with taking the oath now, if that makes you guys happy. Yes.
Yeah, whatever's easiest for you. I just know Zoom is kind of awkward sometimes.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of Zoom meetings. I'm in a Zoom meeting once a week now or more, so this is fine.
All right, we will go ahead and do the oath without having a camera or anything. I'm just gonna raise your right hand and hope it's raised. So I state your name,
I, Walter Wick,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution and laws
that I will support the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the state of Oregon,
of the state of Oregon,
and the charter and ordinances
and the charter and ordinances
of the city of Aumsville,
of the city of Aumsville,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties of city councilor
discharge the duties of city councilor
in and for the city of Aumsville,
in and for the city of Aumsville,
according to law
according to law
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability.
There we go. You're a city councilor now, Walter.
Awesome, wonderful. Thank you.
So
very
we'll figure out a time with Ron to go in and we'll have a written copy of that for you to sign, and then I'll sign it as well.
He literally can just stop by City Hall anytime and we'll have one ready there and he can just sign it.
Okay, you want to just throw it in my little thing to sign.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm off tomorrow. I'll do that. Thank you.
Cool. Let me scroll back up here on my agenda. So with that, council president. So obviously Della has been council president for the past 2 years. And so I had asked Ron, hey, you know, we've got new counselors and everything coming in. It's a new term for me as well. So I'd like to do a reappointment on that. You know, I would like to see someone else step into that as well. I think it's a great opportunity for people to jump into a leadership role and kind of get their feet wet as far as presiding over a meeting. And that's really the main role is presiding over any meetings where I'm not present. But this is something that, you know, as a council, it's really it's more for you guys to decide than anything else. So if you all want to have any discussion on it, or if there's someone you would like to appoint, we could go ahead and do that. Anybody?
I don't want to
Just gotta
nominate
stay quiet.
myself per se, but you know, it's been a tremendous blessing to be able to serve our city and be able to help support the growth and the positive changes that have made, you know, and if, you know, council's, you know, amenable, I'd like to potentially throw my hat in to be the council president, just to be able to support the positive goals of both our mayor and our council. So we keep on, you know, charging ahead and making the changes that are necessary. So
I
like be able to continue to do that.
Nico and I both have 2 years on council now, so I'll throw my name out there as well. Like, I presided over other meetings within the state and chair different organizations. Yeah, and it's been interesting. I think we've learned a lot these last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, does anybody want to? Is there anybody else who wants to nominate anyone or throw their name in the hat or anything? If not, do we have any motions?
Derek,
Yes.
I would just like to say that I am still willing as well. There are
absolutely.
some things during the daytime that sometimes I've had to fill in for you on.
Uh-huh.
So just keep that in mind as well. That's all I wanted to say.
And yeah, this is something that's, I mean, yeah, I vote on it as well, but I see this as being, you know, you guys choosing who's going to step into those shoes whenever I'm not present. So, and whatever direction y'all want to go, I'm fine with either way, regardless of who it is.
And Mayor, really, if just a council member makes a motion to move the nomination forward, you can have more than one nomination and we could vote on them in order.
So does anybody have any motions they want to put forward?
So if we want to move to motion I feel like
I
we're,
move to
we're looking
nominate X
to-
for the position of council president.
Yeah,
because we're looking to kind of share some of the knowledge and experience.
I mean,
That's
that's
what I feel
that's my thought
we're-
process on it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's actually in our council rules that we will reappoint the position every 2 years. So this
Yeah.
actually, it's just we didn't necessarily, I don't know if we followed the format or if it was just it kind of happened, but it's in our council rules. So this is the meeting that we would appoint the position, whether you reappoint somebody or you appoint somebody else, this is the meeting to do that.
Okay. Well, I will move to, what do I say? Move to
Appoint whoever.
appoint Angie Seha to city council president.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Vote by roll call.
Well, Mayor,
Yep.
I think just to make sure that it's a fair process, you should see, are there any additional nominations?
Okay. Are there any additional nominations?
I'll nominate Nico as well.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
I love it.
We'll just make things interesting,
Never a dull moment, right?
right?
Do we have any other nominations? Are we is everybody just going to nominate everybody? Is that how we're doing this?
Sure. Can we do this on a quarterly basis? I'll just rotate everybody around.
Right.
Well, I'm not hearing any other nominations.
So we'll close the nomination.
So we'll close the nominations. I believe the first motion was Angie, so we have to do that one first, correct?
In this particular case, because it's a nomination appointment, yes, that's the way I would do
Okay.
it.
So vote by roll call.
Okay. Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
So since we got unanimous on that, do we also need to vote on Nico as well?
No,
And then
No.
they get to like
that
duke it
motion,
out back with like some oversized boxing gloves or
Yeah, like
Mud
douse
pit
down
maybe
at the
perhaps?
park.
I mean,
Flip it.
that could be a good corn festival event. We get one of those like inflatable
Right.
boxing rings with the giant gloves, and
Yes.
winner gets to be council president.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we could raffle off tickets.
I'm down.
As long as we can hit each other with like feathers, just feathers.
Or the big sumo wrestling suits, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Those are pretty
Alright.
fun, actually.
those actually are good. Then.
House Dewey
All
does
right,
it also.
so with that, congratulations, Angie. The planning commission vacancies. So initially we had advertised for 2 vacancies, but Walter was on planning committee. So with him now being appointed to council, we will actually have 3 vacancies that we will go ahead and appoint. I read through the applications. I had a chance to reach out to a few people. Unfortunately, I didn't get around to having a chat with everybody. I've kind of settled on 3 that I would like to appoint, but if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask any of the planning committee applicants that are present or anything like that, I'm fine with doing that first before I put forward appointments.
So Mayor, just a point of clarification, I think there's actually, I believe there's only 3 applicants. There's 4 applications, but is there 5?
I think so,
Oh.
yeah.
There was
more in.
5, but 1 was not qualified based
Qualified.
on where they live.
Yep. Okay, you got it.
Yeah. Let me see, how many you got put? Yeah, there was 5. Did anybody have any questions before I put forward these appointments? Okay. The first one that I kind of settled on was Chris Chitka. He's previously been on the planning committee. So I think that kind of makes him qualified by default. But no, I've spoken with Chris before. You know, he's lived in Aumsville for quite some time. He's been on the committee previously. So I would like to appoint Chris Chitka onto the planning committee. So Ron, do we
Mayor?
want to
Mayor?
vote on these or go through all of them, or how do we want to do this?
It's really up to you and council. You can vote on one at a time,
Okay.
or you could go through all 3 of them. It's your choice.
Okay. Della, did you have something?
Yes, I just have a question.
Yes.
One of the reasons that Chris wasn't appointed back in the past is because we had problems with attendance and not being able to hold meetings. And I just want to make sure that's not going to be a problem if he's appointed.
So, I mean, I can speak to Chris's attendance. I know we were having problems getting a quorum, but I'm not sure if, at least the time period that I was here, I feel like his attendance was good. So I'm not sure that was just specifically to him, but we do have a limited number of people on the planning commission. So really we stress to make sure folks can make the commitment.
And I mean, if there was an issue with attendance, I do believe we have a process to remove people from the committee if we needed to as well. So I have no qualms about doing that if it's ever necessary. But I mean, I guess we can go ahead and do these one at a time. So does anybody have a problem with Chris being appointed? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve Chris Chitka to the Aumsville Planning Commission as nominated.
Do we have a second?
Second. I'll second. Oh,
Who was it? Who seconded?
Think
Who was,
think Counselor Lee maybe.
I
okay.
think Lee got that one.
It was so quick and quiet. I didn't catch it.
Well, add that to the list for Corn Festival boxing. All right, so
Sumo wrestling.
go ahead and vote by roll call.
Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Nay.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
All right, that is a 6-1 vote that passes.
So the next one that I had kind of settled on is Matt. I think quite a few of us know Matt. He's former Mayor Baugh's son, but he's a local Boy Scout leader, been in the community for quite some time. And I think, honestly, being Robert's son, it's a great resource as someone to help lean on as well. So I would like to appoint Matt to the planning committee.
I will nominate Matt to be appointed to the Planning Commission.
Do we have a second?
Second that.
Vote by roll call.
Okay, Counselor Caceres,
Nay.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Purdy. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get that one changed. Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
And that is a 6-1 vote that passes.
And then the last one that I would like to appoint is Jennifer Mullen. They're working for Department of Education. I think one of the things that I have tried to do is try and work on a better relationship with the school district and with the high school near us. And even though this is a position on planning committee as opposed to council, I do think that makes her an excellent resource and base of knowledge for us. So I would like to appoint Jennifer to the planning commission. Does anybody have an issue with that, or do we have a motion?
I move to approve Jennifer Mullen to be appointed to the Aumsville Planning Commission as nominated.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Go by roll call.
Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is a unanimous vote.
All right. So we have 3 new people on the planning commission. Congratulations to the 3 of you. I'm sure Ron will be reaching out soon. But I mean, I think I speak for the entire council when I say we appreciate you putting your names forward and being willing to step up into these positions. Like Ron has said, in the past, we have had a hard time finding people who want to step up and be a part of, you know, the city government in this process. And so we truly appreciate it. Employee awards. So we got quite a few awards. We'll just go ahead and rattle down the list. First thing first, we've got the police department, the employee of the year for the police department. We've got Officer Jesse Green. So I've got a little write-up here. You know, Officer Green began his career as a reserve officer in the city in July 2011. He left in 2016 and took a full-time position in Lincoln City, but came back in June of 2018. Since then, Officer Green has become a dedicated member, offering his leadership knowledge and mentoring skills to other younger officers. Officer Green is a valued member of our department, and we are very fortunate that he has chosen Aumsville as his home. I have had the opportunity to interact with Officer Green on multiple occasions. I think he's a great guy. He's always got, you know, positive energy about him. Anytime we have little city events and he is working, he wants to come out. He wants to talk to people. He wants to be present. And I feel that he really does kind of exemplify that community policing. And I know that's something that we have been striving for here in Aumsville. But do you have anything you'd like to say, Chief?
No, I think you pretty well covered it, Mayor. Like I said, we're just fortunate to have him and hope we can keep him for a while.
Hopefully. I can't even, with the names on here, I don't even know if Jesse's on the meeting, but if he is, congratulations, man. Ron, we've got like little plaques and stuff we're getting made up or whatever. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
So-
there's an official plaque that typically we would do this at an open council meeting, and would be a little bit more of a ceremony, but and we typically do it in the fall, and we kind of held off a little bit just because we didn't know how soon we might get back to in-person meetings, but
Yeah.
It was finally our assessment that we should just make sure that we recognize those folks that have done some great work for the city.
So second, we have Reserve Officer of the Year, Carl Gaba. I don't know how many years in a row it's been. I know it's been at least 2 that I've been around that Carl's been the Reserve Officer of the Year. I've known him a little bit for a little while. Another guard guy, great dude. I think he's been a reserve officer for forever here in Aumsville.
A while.
So
Carl is here if you wanted to talk.
He
to him.
is. Can we go ahead and pull him into the room?
Yep.
Carl, how long have you been a reserve officer in Aumsville? I just want to know.
Can you see me or hear me?
We can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Okay, I've never
Can hear
done
you.
a Zoom meeting before. No, I originally started with Aumsville back in, I believe it was August of 1998.
Wow. That's awesome. So again, I've got a little write-up here about I mean, it's the typical little stuff. You came to Aumsville and it says 04, and then in 12 got deployed, came back in 13. I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but honestly, man, I've had the chance to interact with you a handful of times. I think you're a great dude. We are lucky to have you. Obviously, you've been around a while. I know you have a wealth of experience. Chief, is there anything you want to say?
I would just say that, Carl's been probably one of our more dedicated reserves. He comes out almost every Friday to work with us and help. In addition to that, his wife, Erica, is also a valued volunteer. She jumps in on all of our programs and stuff and helps us with everything. So, between the two of them, they're, quite an asset to the city.
Awesome. But again, we'll have a little plaque or whatever. We'll get to you one way or another, assuming that, the post office doesn't shut down next. We'll figure that out, but we'll make it happen.
All
right. So city staff, employee of the year, we got Matt. I think I see Matt in there. Can we go ahead and pull him into the room? So I'm rereading through the write-up. So it says, though he doesn't look for recognition, Matt will take on his own tasks and then check to see if anyone needs help with theirs. When planning our projects, he makes himself available, stays consistent with the plan, sees them through. He has taken upon himself to go above and beyond the standard procedures to make sure the city's water system is running properly. Matt is self-motivated in taking care of our water, wastewater, and park system. He's also taken on the responsibility of operating the vacuum truck with safety in mind and keeping up the required maintenance. It has been mentioned to him that it is hard to supervise him because he does so well on his own. For this and much more, we recognize Matt Winans as our Employee of the Year. I haven't had as much time interacting with Matt as I have with some of our law enforcement officers. I don't know if that's because I've been in trouble or not or what, but it's been a little bit here and there. I've had the chance to interact with Matt again. I mean, we've got some fantastic city employees, and I think that this is a recognition that is well deserved. You have anything you want to say, Steve?
Well, Matt is just a super guy to be around. He's willing to help anybody get their job done. He's brought everybody, I think, a little bit closer together in getting our jobs done. So I really am thrilled to have him on our team.
Excellent.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Then we have our longevity awards. So we've got Brenda. So Brenda started her career in law enforcement in 1984, working as a dispatcher for various agencies in the Mid-Willamette Valley area. In August of 2015, Brenda changed it up and became a police support specialist for the Aumsville Police Department. Along with being the face of the police department, she is also responsible for police records, municipal records, and evidence. In her 5 years with the department, Brenda has twice received the Employee of the Year recognition. She oversees many of the police department's community programs and is responsible for our annual city Santa visit. Brenda is always quick to assist the public in any way she can and is a valued member of the police department as well as the city of Aumsville. And I mean, anybody who's gone into the police department has probably met Brenda. She's another person that just always has a really, really good positive energy about her, a really good vibe about her. She's always super nice to everyone, always got a smile on her face. I think Brenda's an absolute gem. So I think it's awesome that we can recognize her for 5 years in the city. I think we're super lucky to have her.
Thank you.
You have anything you wanted to say?
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And then we got Steve. 30 years, man.
Can't get rid of it.
I mean, don't you have anything better to do with your time than hang around here for 30 years?
I like this so much. I love my job.
So Steve was hired in April of 1990 and has been a valued member of the city's Public Works Department since. Steve was appointed to the position of Public Works Director on June 1st, 1996. has led the city in many system improvements. 2014, Steve was presented with the Manager of the Year by the Oregon Association of Water Utilities. 2015, the city of Aumsville received an award for the Best Tasting Groundwater of the Year and the Best Overall Drinking Water of the Year from the Oregon Association of Water Utilities. This award was a direct result of the city's installation of a new sand filtration system, which was led by Steve as the Public Works Director. The city is fortunate to have such a valued employee in Steve, and it is our pleasure to present him with the 30-year Employee Recognition Award. I mean, I get to be around Steve plenty. He's always joking, always having a great time. I think we are absolutely lucky to have had you for 30 years, man. I mean, I don't know why you're still hanging out with us after 30 years, but it's awesome and we appreciate it.
It's not just a job, it's an adventure. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Congrats, Steve.
Congratulations, Steve.
Thanks.
Appreciate you majorly.
So next we have public comment. Is there anybody in the attendees that had any comments that they would like to make or anything that they would like to bring up to the council? I'm gonna go ahead and give it a minute. If anybody has anything, they can go ahead and just press a little button to raise your hand, and then Colleen will get you pulled into the room. I'm not seeing anything, so we will go ahead and move on. Consent agenda. Everybody have a chance to read through the minutes and all that. Does anybody have any issues with anything? So I know, Walter, you didn't get it because you didn't get the packet. But did anybody else have any issues, any comments, concerns, any of that? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
You have a second?
Second,
Vote by roll call.
Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
aye.
Counselor Wick,
I believe I abstain, correct?
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
Okay, that is 6 and 1 abstain, and it passes.
I just had a cat climb in through my window. I mean, it's one of my cats, but it just jumped up and came through the window. So no public hearing, no old business, new business. We have a resolution 01-21, a resolution reauthorizing the mayor and city administrator signatures. And this is just so we can sign checks and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, this is for our authorization on contracts. It's a formality, housekeeping item that we do every election cycle.
So can I get a motion on that one? I mean, or I can just not sign the checks. I mean, that's fine.
I move to approve mayor and the city administrator to be able to sign paperwork as needed.
Second,
Vote by roll call.
Okay. Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is a unanimous vote.
Cool. Moving on. Signature authorization changes. With that, Ron, because I mean, we had like Jim was on some of the accounts, wasn't he?
Yeah, and what I would suggest in this one, Mayor, if Angie is willing to do that, I would suggest that we put the council president on. So we'd like to have 3 signatures besides myself.
Uh-huh.
So you and I and Della are currently authorized signatures, but because we took Jim off, we were down 1.
Okay.
We decided just to wait until the new election cycle.
Okay.
But since Angie, if she's willing, if she's council president, it makes sense to have her as a signature on the accounts because she'll be signing in your absence in a lot of cases as well.
Okay, with this one, did we only have 2 or is this one that we had 3?
Well, currently there's 3 or there's 2 elected officials and the vacated position by Counselor Case. So we'd just be replacing his. So it'd be 3 elected officials.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say, I'd still try and keep 3 on there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're good with that, Angie?
Yeah.
And so in this particular one, the motion has to be read exactly how it's printed, just because the bank's very particular. So you need to read the account numbers.
Okay.
And the
So that's on for anybody who's that's page 20 if you haven't found it yet.
So that's to replace Wilmer Chase with Angie.
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure you say my full name, not Angie Seha.
Say Angelica.
Yeah, Angelica Seha. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I motion, or do I just say I move to replace?
Yeah,
I would
just read it word for word and throw in Angie's name.
Okay. I move to replace Wilmer J. Case with Counselor Angelica Seha as an authorized signer for the City of Aumsville's Riverview Community Bank account 90010000967, effective January 11th, 2021.
We have a second.
Seconded.
Vote by roll call.
Nico, was that you that seconded?
Yes.
Sorry, I was looking down. I didn't see who it was. All right. Counselor Caceres,
Aye.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee,
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
And that is unanimous.
Moving on. We've got the Westtech Engineering Contract with GIS. You want to chat about that, Ron?
I just realized it's actually GSI and I transposed that and I apologize. It's
So GSI.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we got to start the entire meeting over now, don't we?
Please.
I was going to say, there was also a staff report that went with this, but it's not in my packet. Hopefully you guys received that. So Westtech Engineering is the city's engineer company of record, and we reached out to them to help put together some stuff that we need to do for our water system and our water rights portfolio. We still have some water rights that haven't fully been executed. And what that means is they need to be moved to the source of withdrawal, and we've started that process but not completed it. We also wanted them to do some groundwork for helping us acquire some new water rights. It's something that's been out there as a need for the city, but we really haven't done any work on it because we've just been busy with other things and really didn't have a lot of resources. They reached out to a sub-consultant, which is GSI, who specialize in municipal water systems and work closely with the Department of Environmental Quality, and executed a sub-recipient agreement for them to do some of this groundwork for us. So this is groundwork on our water right portfolios. I think Steve could probably, I don't know, is there anything I'm leaving out that's at a high level that you could throw out there, Steve?
No, we just need to finish those certificates. We don't want to take a chance on losing any of our water rights that we do have.
Yeah.
So we need to keep up on those.
So water rights, just to give you a quick little overview, when we get those, they're a commodity, they're a material thing. We can't just take water out of the ground. We have to have a right to do that that's granted from the state. But we also have to have the point of withdrawal and the water right aligned. And oftentimes, because of the way that our wells are de-escalating in volume, we're having to shift the water rights around a little bit to get the maximum volume yield out of those. And this is the first step to quite a little bit of work that we'll need to do with water rights in the coming years. Happy to answer any additional questions that you may have.
Nothing. Nobody's got anything. And I had a look at what was put in our packets as far as the contract goes. I'm good with everything. Does anybody have any issues? Any comments, concerns, problems? Nothing. It's very, very quiet tonight. So do you need anything specific from us, Ron? A warm fuzzy one way or the other?
Just to move to approve the contract with GSI and Westtech Engineering. This really doesn't need to come to council. This is something that under our rules could just be signed by the administrator, but there was time to bring it to you. And as I've said to council many times, if there's time to bring it to council, I prefer for council to get eyes on these things versus just execute them. But this is a pretty small contract for services.
So do you want a full motion, or do you just want us to give you the head nod?
I think you could just say, council could just say, I move to approve the GIS contract with Westtech Engineering.
GSI.
GSI. GSI.
Sorry, I planted that seed.
Well, we got a motion.
I move to approve Westtech Engineering's contract with GSI as presented.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Vote by roll call.
Right, Councilor Caceres,
Aye.
Councilor Seha,
Aye.
Councilor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Councilor Lee,
Aye.
Councilor Sini,
Aye.
Councilor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is a unanimous vote.
Cool. Moving on. Participation agreement in support of community development block grant.
And as council knows, we partner with a number of the neighboring cities on some of these community developments block grants. We don't qualify necessarily as a city entity ourselves for community development block grants, or at least that's what we've been told many times. But we can partner with other jurisdictions, and that actually makes our applications a lot stronger. And we've been really successful with these partnership applications. Council knows we've gotten housing rehabilitation grants twice through a partnership that's very similar to this through community development block grants. And what this is this is a COVID emergency fund community development block grant. There's, I think, right around $3 million that's been made available. And we've put in an application for up to $500,000. And that's in rental assistance. So basically, folks who have lost their job or have been stricken with COVID, this grant will pay their rent or their house payment for a period of time. The lead agency is the city of Staten, and it includes Aumsville, Staten, Turner, and Sublimity. And so really anybody in that region. And all this is a motion from council that says, yes, we're willing to participate in this grant. It's not an acceptance of the grant necessarily. It's signaling to Business Oregon that we're kind of in this partnership with these other cities and willing to move forward. There would be it would be the Community Action Council would be the administrator of this grant, and the applicants would go to them. So literally we're putting our name on the grant application, hopefully to benefit our citizens at the end of the day. But beyond Beyond that, it would be administered by a subrecipient agency.
So is this something that it comes to us and then we submit it to that community action group, or it goes directly to the group?
It would go directly to them through our subrecipient contract, which would be filed with Business Oregon.
Mhm.
So once we've actually filing all of that stuff as part of the application. Our application, I believe, has been vetted by Business Oregon and ready to accept. So.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? So you want a full motion on this one, Ron?
Yep, move to approve the participation agreement in support of the Community Development Block Grant 2020.
Who's got a motion for me, one way or the other?
I move to approve City of Aumsville participating in the support of a Community Development Block Grant from the 2020 Community Development Block Grant Program administered by Business Oregon.
Seconded.
There we go. Vote by roll call.
Counselor Casares,
Aye.
Counselor Seha,
Aye.
Counselor Ecclestone,
Aye.
Counselor Lee.
Aye.
Counselor Sini,
Aye.
Counselor Wick,
Aye.
Mayor Clevenger.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
Moving on. City Administrator report. Go for it, Ron.
Excellent. So I'll just skip through some of the highlight updates here because my written report is in your packet. We are at 182 positive infections within the Aumsville, greater Aumsville zip code. Now that's an accumulative over the last 10 months. It doesn't factor in who's recovered or any of that. As we know, we saw some spikes due to the holidays, but we're starting to see those spikes level off now in the area. So I've said 172 as of the report. That number's been updated recently, so we're at 182 currently right now. If you look at the trends, we're in the lower per 100,000 infection rates in the county. Obviously, North County, the very populated areas of Woodburn and Kaiser, Salem, that corridor there seems to be the center of positive rates. So I think we're doing really good as a community. I think everybody's done a great job of not helping to spread the virus, so to speak. There was our COVID relief grant that we received this year that actually ended on December 30th. We exhausted the money from that grant for the most part. And I think it was last week, we got an email from DAS, which is the administrative agency for these grants, that asked if we wanted to extend it until June 30th. And of course, we replied, sure, for a couple of reasons. One is there may be more funds available that'll come our way. And so, so we went ahead and extended that contract, and we'll keep council updated if more COVID relief funds come our way, and then we can discuss the best use for those funds. You may see a lot of developments occurring around town. I just wanted to highlight that. We've got a lot of projects going on. Some of them are starting to wrap up. The system development charge reports are in your packet. It's required by law that we have a updated report available by the 30th of December. That's all the law says, but we bring it forward to council at the next council meeting. As you see, we really haven't expended much out of system development charges. And that's mainly because those funds are dedicated, and under the law, we can only spend those for growth related projects that are within our capital capital facilities plans related to each of those. That's something that we'll be talking about as part of our strategic planning retreat. How to spend some of those monies and what to do with them. But anyway, the report's in your packet. Happy to answer any questions. Even though council's previously gotten our audit report from the auditor's office, and it's been available at City Hall for anybody that wants it, I wanted to, because we had a few new council members coming on, I wanted to go ahead and throw that into this council packet. I think I emailed it to council, but I'm not sure that we ever talked about it at a meeting, but our audit looked really good this year. There were no issues pointed out by the auditors. Everything looked pretty good. Cascade School District, just a heads up that they actually are going to go out. I think I sent you, maybe I sent you something. They're going to go out for a capital bond measure, but they're going to go do some public outreach first. So you may see in here some surveys and things of that nature. The schematics that they have for some of their capital projects aren't 100, they're high level. So if you look at the schematics that they put forward for improvements to the elementary school, obviously the city would require some changes to that because of their entry exit points. And we've talked to them about that, so they know that. And then the last thing is our retreat planning. Obviously, we know we're going to have to most likely do our retreat through a Zoom platform. And what I would like to do is set up a maybe a 3-hour session for a retreat, and we could schedule like 3 of those and see how it goes. Maybe we cancel one or add another one depending on where we get to with those. But I do have quite a laundry list of things that we could do as far as strategic planning. And, you know, a lot of the discussions are roundtable and you kind of bat them back and forth. There's not necessarily quick decisions on everything, but we need to approve our new council protocol manual, which was updated. We actually were supposed to approve that last year, but because we never really got together, it never came forward. And we'd like to operate from the new one because it's more up to date with the things that council wanted to see in there. Reaffirm our goals. We've got to talk about street projects and planning for that. We got to talk about water sewer infrastructure and planning for that. And then events, how we're going to approach events. This year, our event planning committee got together and we're already starting to roll out the events. Easter's the first one up. I think we've got a good plan. And then, there's a whole list of things. I don't have it all off the top of my head, but certainly those things that council wants to weigh in on. And my thought was after the January 25th meeting, that's when we'd start those meetings, but we could schedule them anytime, and we could just do a Wednesday at 6 or, Thursday at 6, or just pick a day and schedule in 2 or 3 hour bites. That's my suggestion. And then I just wanted to see how council felt about that.
I'm fine with whatever. I don't do anything when I'm home, so my schedule's wide open.
The thought of 3 hours on Zoom just kills me. But it can't be any worse than like my old day trainings. So like I'm good.
Well, I knew you weren't. I knew 8 hours was going to be out, Angie. Yeah. So
Ron, I have 8-hour meetings at least 3 times a month on a Saturday. So.
Angie, it's Zoom. Like you don't even have to wear pants. Okay, it's Zoom.
Oh, no. It's not always like one of them is like camera has to be on. Like, we can do it. We can hang out.
I think we'll be all right.
Do you guys have a preference of a day or days of the week that works better or doesn't work better for some?
Tuesdays or Thursdays work better for me if we're doing it during the week.
Yeah, I feel like those are a little bit calmer days for me as well.
Are we doing it in the evening? We're doing
Yeah,
it
I
in
would think, yeah, I would think in the evening.
Okay. Yeah, a Tuesday, Thursday I can do in the evening. During the day, I think a Thursday, like, it'd be a little, like, I'd have to move some stuff around, but
So would
evening-
6 o'clock on Tuesdays work for everybody?
I think so. I think that would work.
I mean, technically that's cutting into my jujitsu time, but if my options are sitting on a Zoom call or getting beaten up by grown men, I think I'll take the Zoom call.
Well, you could be getting beaten up on Zoom too there.
This is true. This is true. That works fine for me.
Okay. Anybody that it doesn't work for? Nope. Okay, we'll go ahead and set out some tentative special meeting schedules, and I'll start working on that.
Perfect.
That is all I have. The police report is in your packet. The public works report is in your packet. There's really nothing out of normal operations there. I don't think we're continuing the work for the city, and it's going well.
Cool. So do any of the counselors have anything to report? I think I mentioned it. Oh, go ahead, Doug. You had something to say?
Since we're talking about some funds that Ron said was going to be going around, we had some notification come out at work that another round of the PPP loans are going to be coming out. So any of the community members, business owners in the community, or you might have family members that are still having a tough time. And we know with how seasonal Oregon can be for employment, the next few months can be pretty tough on everybody. So everybody kind of keep your ears open. They're going to be accepting applications soon for another round of funds, and just talk to your bankers and your accountants. And because I know that there was some fear of some of the business owners that got the first round trying to get them forgiven. Just try to stay on top of everybody. And if there's funds that are available to keep you going, make sure you try to get it. It's all still really critical for everybody to try to get through all this.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I had spoken with a few different people that work for Marion County with their grants, and so I would advise the city staff, if people call and ask questions or anything like that, remind them to contact Marion County as well, because of this last round of PPP funds, there was a lot of people who were applying at the state level. And obviously those funds were gone pretty quickly. There was actually quite a bit of money that the county had that ended up not getting touched. Like there was like one business that applied for it, I believe, is what I was told. And so I believe the authorization for the grants expired, and so they're waiting for a second round of authorization through the renewal of CARES Act. But it seems that when it comes to COVID funding, county entities seem to be the level of government that everybody's forgetting about, and people weren't contacting Marion County asking for money. So if people contact the city hall, they get a hold of you, Ron, or whatever, maybe advise them to reach out to Marion County.
Yeah, all of those links were on our website, and I think they're still up there, even though some of those grants closed. We still left them up there, and we're actually proactively reaching out to businesses. I emailed a number of businesses today just to let them know that the new SBA round was coming out, and here were some resources for them. The college has a resource day that they just announced out. And then we connect them with those sources at whatever levels are available. The difficulty, it's the same thing we felt with the federal grant, is they're very obscure about what you can use the money for.
Yeah.
It's not very cut and dry. And I think a lot of folks are just nervous about
Vague,
accepting it.
just to be vague. There's no reason to be that vague, but they are.
Yeah, and Doug might be able to highlight this. I know when a number of folks went to SBA directly, and I've dealt with SBA in the past before, and it was extremely cumbersome to go through their process. And that's the feedback that I had. But I'm going to assume that going through the bank, you kind of cut through a lot of that process for them. Is that the case, Doug?
Well, the last time the funds came out, I assisted them with kind of helping things flow, but that's the commercial business line, and I'm more on the consumer retail side.
Okay.
But the email was sent to all the staff today to kind of notify all of us to kind of be ready to start directing members, because phone calls and stuff should be coming in, and a lot of lessons were learned from the first round. I mean, nobody had ever seen anything like this before. So it was, I don't want to say a dumpster fire, but it was very hard to manage with when your IT is trying to develop a system to communicate with the on the federal level to the feds for funds that they created last week. So you had like no time to get things to talk and communicate. So this time they're saying that they're going to be running things more electronic, and they're just more well prepared. So with things going, it sounds like there's going to be more money this time. They're going to be making it easier, and the encouragement is it's going to be faster. Everybody's going to be able to respond quicker and to have your paperwork ready.
Well, we'll keep working with those grant funds. There's been a lot of things available, and we've been directing folks, especially the businesses that have been closed down in town. We have been directing those guys to the resources. So hopefully they've been taking advantage. It does bring up one other thing having to do with the utilities. As council knows, last month, we changed our water sewer utility format. Where now the owners of the properties are responsible for the bill, not necessarily a renter. And that was following some of our legal counsel's advice on the best way to do that. With that, we really need to eliminate our no disconnection policy that we have, and really move that towards an aggressive working with delinquent accounts, because before, if we didn't get the money, we could just write it off. But now we've by default made the property owner responsible. And I feel like we really can't put the property owner in that position. But what I will tell you is we only have a handful of accounts that have gotten, up there in charges, that have had multiple months of not being able to pay. And we're working aggressively with those folks with different agencies and or our internal process to reduce or eliminate those bills. So we're still working with those folks. We still won't put a fee on credit cards. I would probably extend that through March or April. No fees on credit cards. I looked at the city's water utility financials up to date today. Council will get that this next week in their packet for the 25th. And we're holding our own. We're not following behind. We're not aggressively ahead. But despite a lot of these policies, we're still holding our own. So I think we can be really lenient. I think we can just work aggressively with those residents that fall behind. But I do think we need to re-implement our disconnection policy, or at least if there's not a concerted effort to work with the city staff, we need to re-implement that.
I'm fine with doing away with that as like a policy, like a blanket policy, but obviously we'll have to be, they have to do their part as well. If someone's just not paying stuff, not showing up, not communicating with the city, then, but if they're making an effort, you know, we need to make an effort as well.
Yep, we're doing it.
Cool.
Are you guys good with that then?
Yeah.
I don't need a motion, just consensus. It was kind of brought on by consensus. So.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else have anything? So my schedule, I was kind of talking about a little bit before the meeting. I've got to nail down the dates either way. And I think I brought this up last meeting as well. I will be gone probably the last half of March. I'm trying to nail down whether I'm leaving on the 8th or the 15th. And then I should be back early, mid-April. But again, like last time, I will more than likely have internet access through it all. So I'll still be able to Zoom into meetings and whatnot. But just a heads up on that just in case. So if for some reason I don't have internet, I guess Angie, you'll be running some meetings. So definitely if there's any hiccups, I think Dell is a fantastic resource.
I have my little pocketbook of Robert rules.
There you go.
For reals, I actually have one.
So on the agenda, we have an executive session because we are doing things over Zoom. That makes it kind of difficult for us to go into an executive session and then come back. In this executive session, we will not be making any decisions. So I will let the attendees know that we will not be coming back from the executive session. So we're going to go ahead and close the open meeting, go into an executive session, and completely end the meeting from there. So with that being said, we can close the regular meeting. I've got 8:08.